Good morning. For many years, military experts and strategists have warned that the United States Navy is not equipped to perform in the battlefields of the future. The future battlefields and the ones on the open ocean are going to feature weapons that are fast and smart and unmanned. Unmanned aerial vehicles will be more important and more capable and more lethal and much less expensive than a fighter plane with a human pilot inside. Unmanned submersibles for Navy use will be more capable, able to go deeper, perform more missions for longer, for a lot less money than a submarine. Hypersonic missiles and cruise missiles and drone swarms will become much more important and lethal than aircraft carrier battle groups. Even casual observers now can notice how good the technology is, how many capabilities there are for civilian uses at low cost and so easy to use and without much imagination could be turned into weapons of war. Now that day is here. We have confirmation from real-world headlines. In the Ukraine, sea drones are going after Russia's surface fleet. The Houthis in the Middle East are using cheap drones and missiles to stymie the navies of the United States and the UK and disrupt shipping through the Suez Canal. And the most obvious question comes to mind immediately. If the Houthis are able to do so much damage so cheaply, what are the Chinese capable of? The Chinese have been focusing on drones and unmanned vehicles and missiles as a core part of their defense strategy for over a generation. The United States and China are by far the biggest military spenders of any countries. And military spending country by country also reflects how that military's leadership believes or hopes the next battles will be fought. We pointed out that China can build ships over 200 times faster than the United States can. Their shipbuilding industry is literally over 200 times bigger than America's. So if China believed that the aircraft carrier were the future of naval warfare, they could have built 50 of them by now. Yet we see their 3 carriers, compare them with our 11, and we ask why they're so far behind. Instead, we should be asking, what are they building if they have all that capacity and they're not building fleet carriers? Now the Pentagon wants to change its own focus and direction. The U.S. Navy has figured out that the Navy, our Navy, needs to be building fewer aircraft carriers and focus on smaller, lighter, faster, unmanned, cheaper. They're trying to change direction. Pentagon wants sea drones to counter China's naval power. The Navy now wants to build lots and lots of the equipment that China has been building, equipment that even the Houthis can use to reroute global shipping lanes. But the problem is that the Navy can't find anyone who will build anything for them at a lower cost. The Pentagon remains wedded to big shipbuilding projects. Pentagon needs lots and lots of new drones, and they're saying so publicly. Better late than never, could say. Repeated warnings that the future of maritime warfare is here today and the Navy isn't ready. But here's a bigger problem. The Defense Department likes big ships and submarines. They cost a lot of money, they produce a lot of jobs, and they mean big profits for the companies that build the ships. The military-industrial complex has the best lobbyists. They know how the money flows, how contracting works. This isn't a quote, by the way, from some anti-war pacifist. Philip Stratman is a weapons manufacturer himself. The total Navy budget for procurement means buying things, will be about $63 billion for next year. They budgeted $172 million for underwater drones for this year, and it drops to only $100 million for next. So not much money now and even less later. Eric Pahone is a spokesman for the Pentagon. Here he says, the valley of death. The Valley of Death here is not a phrase by small unit infantry in an exposed position. This is how the Pentagon spokesman describes how things work at the Pentagon. The tortuous approval process, which is required to get anything done there. Here is another weapons manufacturer, the president of Ingalls, a shipbuilder. He says the Pentagon is doing a lot of talking about drones, but they aren't budgeting any money. The drones may be cheap and fast. The $3 million can be called cheap, but Ingalls and other shipbuilders can't even build the stuff they've agreed to already. Several large traditional ship projects are years behind schedule. Over in the Red Sea, we have this situation. The Houthis drones are $2,000 each. They launch these drones at our Navy ships and at other ships trying to get through the Suez Canal. In order to protect the ships, we shoot down those $2,000 drones with $2 million missiles. If that continues, we'll run out of money before the Houthis do. We do have Reaper drones over Yemen at $30 million each, and the Houthis have shot down 3 of them so far. When the Navy shoots down a $2,000 drone with a $2 million missile, someone is making a lot of money to build another missile. When our $30 million Reaper drone is shot down or crashes, somebody is going to make a lot of money to build another Reaper drone. And when our Navy says we need new equipment, cheaper equipment, because of how the world is now, somebody is making a lot of money to keep everything exactly the way it is. Here's our Pentagon spokesman again, the Valley of Death guy. We know we need to keep pushing to stay ahead. We're not ahead. If the Houthis can shoot down our $30 million drones and shut down the Suez, nobody believes we're ahead. Yunnan province, southwest China. Be good.
Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life.